Warning, the following podcast is a shit show, and the individuals you are about to meet are idiots. Their opinions, anecdotes, and advice contain zero nutritional value. This is the critical human condition and all of its strangeness. This is life, according to an idiot.
Hello and welcome to According to an Idiot. I am your lovely co-host for the evening, Mo Christine.
And I'm your co-host for the morning, Jeremy Howell.
Woo! Put those applause in there. Woo! Oh my god! Oh, we love Jeremy!
Yeah, some vuvuzelas.
We love Mo! Hello and welcome to another episode. Thank you for tuning in. Jeremy prepared the topic for this episode, so I am going to be pleasantly surprised on whatever we talk about today. All I know is that I have some information about a satanic cult.
Yeah.
Which is fucking rad. So I am intrigued and interested on what exactly we're going to be talking about today. You know what makes me feel like all loopy and head in the clouds?
Oh, this is interesting. What?
Walking around a forest.
Walking around a forest?
Yeah.
You know what forests remind me of? Trees. You know what a pine tree looks like from far away? A triangle.
Whoa.
And you know what I really like to do? Is walk on bridges. And bridges are over water. The Bridgewater Triangle. Seamless transition, by the way.
Oh, shit.
That's right. Boys and girls, today we will be talking about the Bridgewater Triangle. Mo, what do you know about the Bridgewater Triangle?
Literally nothing.
Good.
I'm hoping that it's like a version of the Bermuda Triangle, but on land.
It's got, well, same vibe, right? I mean, there's a weird thing with triangles and being scary. I don't know what it is.
I mean, if you think about it, everything's a triangle.
This is true.
If you try hard enough, anything could be in a triangle.
Wow. That's going to change a lot of lives.
Everything is kind of scary. Everything is kind of a triangle.
When this hits the airwaves, people's lives will change.
Mm-hmm. Clip this. My conspiracy. Clip this. Everything is kind of a triangle.
Kind of a triangle. Yeah, so triangles, right? Isosceles, congruent,
right?
Right angle, all the good stuff. But also Bridgewater. Bridgewater Triangle. Let's get into this, folks.
Oh, hell yeah.
There are places, this is my preamble, so just lock in.
Mm-hmm.
There are places on this earth that defy explanation. Places where the laws of nature do not apply.
I need, when this is edited, to have the music that's played on like Ghost Adventures when he's like, there are some things in the world that can't be explained.
There are some things we will never understand. Yeah. Understand.
There are things in this world that we will never fully understand.
Yeah. Where reality bends, arcing toward absurdity. Our ancestors had names for these spots. Thin places, sacred groves, places of power, dreamtime portals. In Japanese Shinto, there's a concept of a kakai, an invisible spiritual boundary that separates the sacred from the mundane. For as long as humans have been settling this land, we've encountered spaces that speak to us in a language so alien, yet with a message so undeniable. Often these spots are assumed to be holy, and man-made temples and shrines are built accordingly. But not every thin place inspires cathedrals or elicits feelings of reverence. For every blessed mountaintop and enchanted forest glen, there's a dozen cursed ghost towns or doomed caves long rumored to house evil spirits. These are haunted places, cursed land, where the membrane that separates us from the great beyond wears thin and tears, where something watches from the trees. Strange lights haunt the night sky, and the dead never really die. And this is in Massachusetts.
Shocker. Everything terrible in the world is like in Massachusetts and Connecticut.
It's all in New England. So buried away in southeastern Massachusetts, a 200 square mile stretch of land has earned a peculiar reputation as one of the strangest places in North America. The Bridgewater Triangle, as it was coined by notable cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman, is a triangulated zone of concentrated paranormal activity and unexplained phenomena. Based off of decades of eyewitness reports between the towns of Abington, Freetown, and Rehoboth, this place has hauntings, Sasquatch sightings, UFO flaps, cases of occult animal mutilations, and a rogues gallery of original cryptids, which have driven investigators to the Bridgewater Triangle, many of whom consider the place to be a potential thin place.
How big is this area?
200 square miles.
Okay.
It's in kind of in central. It's in, well, like, I think southeast Massachusetts. You know the part of Massachusetts where it starts to turn to like a little hook, where the Cape is. It's like right there. It's right where the hook begins.
Can we have context of like how big 200 square miles is? It's slightly smaller than New York City.
There we go. There's your context. So we ask this question a lot, I feel, but what makes New England so goddamn haunted? Huh?
It's old.
It's old. Despite the name, it is not new. It is old. And it's also not England. So kind of over 2.
Well, I think the prevailing theory is that when it was colonized, that's where people landed first, and that's where a lot of the first like genocides happened, a lot of conflict, and since it was the first place that people kind of settled, that's where cities and populations grew the fastest.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of people dying. There were a lot of illnesses, sicknesses, disease, conflict over land and property, fights with the natives, and trades. So I think it makes sense that those
You're exactly right.
have a lot of concentrated death.
Death, yeah, life, whatever. So for the unenlightened, New England, a regional nickname cooked up by some very creative 17th century colonists from, pause for suspense, England, now reps the northeastern cradle of the United States, made up of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. It's where the Pilgrims first landed, like you said, where the American Revolution ignited, and where the roots of our country were irrevocably planted. But that history comes with baggage, like war, colonial violence, puritanical repression, and plenty of genocide. So it's no shocker why New England is thought to be haunted, and in the case of the Bridgewater Triangle, cursed. So one of the most notable fucked up things that happened in this area is...
Slavery?
What's that?
Slavery?
The second most fucked up things that happened. One of the bloodiest and most tragic conflicts in early American history unraveled right in the heart of what is now the Bridgewater Triangle, and that's King Philip's War, which lasted from 1675 to 1676. The brutal clash was between English colonists and a group of native tribes led by Wampanoag chief Metacom, who the colonists had renamed King Philip. Consistent with typical colonial whitewashing of the time, indigenous chiefs were commonly given anglicized or European names by colonists. So this was done to resolve troubles pronouncing indigenous names, to assert cultural dominance. So these native rulers were normally named after European monarchs, with Metacom being renamed after King Philip II of Spain. Also, once you hear the story, you'll get it. This was ironically fitting as the Spanish king was a rival of Protestant England, just as Metacom sought vengeance upon his bothersome Protestant English neighbors. So,
Which, like, what a crazy thing to do, coming onto somebody's land, and you're going, "Hi, my name is Wampanoag," and they're like,
all right, Phil.
You're gonna be Philip.
Yeah.
I don't vibe with that.
Right.
But you seem like a Philip.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And every time you meet this person, Philip.
Yeah. So, Bridgewater Swamp, better known as Hockomock Swamp. Isn't that a cute name, Hockomock?
I like that.
Hockomock was the location of a major Wampanoag fortress during King Philip's War, a strategic base of operations for Metacom to launch assaults onto nearby English settlements. Plenty of fighting took place within the area we now call the Bridgewater Triangle. For the record, Metacom didn't wake up one day in 1675 craving a colonial smackdown. For years, he had watched his people's land rights wither away and their autonomy crumble. Years of broken treaties, stolen land, and forced conversion to Christianity, Metacom and company finally took action. As the war raged, the swamps and forests became brutal battlefields, and the war spread across Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. But when the conflict came to an end in 1678, Metacom had been captured and killed. Vengeful colonists took to raiding and destroying native communities. It never ended, really. Countless native men, women, and children were either killed or sold into slavery in the West Indies. An estimated 3,000 indigenous people died as a result of the war, and around 600 colonists were killed. The colonists were so destructive, like an invasive species, but in retaliation, the natives were incredibly brutal. Like, they would gut livestock. Not kill them, just gut them.
Yeesh.
They played just as dirty as the colonists did, which made it really, really bad. Really, really brutal. Kidnapping colonists and scalping them and,
Yikes. Yeah.
Anyways. So, all in all, 30% of the native soldiers that took part in that rebellion were killed. And, in the following decades, most of the population in general of natives would be wiped out. The bold attempt at fending off the colonial encroachment ultimately would fail, like I said, and Metacom's defeat would accelerate English invasion and growing genocide. Metacom was not captured alive. He was shot in battle, after which his body would be denied an honorable burial. Instead, his remains were desecrated. His enemies quartered his body, allegedly gifting his severed hands and head to his killer, John Alderman, who was what they call a praying Indian. He had reformed, adopted Christianity, and was helping the settlers. And John Alderman, which was obviously his new name, I didn't look up what his old name was, he was a former counselor to Metacom, so he was his right-hand man before defecting. Alderman allegedly stored the head and hands in a bucket of rum, preserving this grotesque trophy of sorts to show off to curious acquaintances. So he'd go around and just be like, hey.
You want to see what I got in my barrel?
Hey, baby. You see this bucket? See this bucket? Why don't you reach into that bucket and give it a little feel? Oh my God, is that Metacom's hands? That's right. That's right, baby. So he would sell the head to the officials at Plymouth Colony for 30 shillings soon after. There, Metacom's head would remain mounted to a pike at the entrance to the town fort for 20 years. So as you can imagine, if you believe in vengeful spirits, on top of all the genocide, you also took this one guy who was trying to fight for them and you ripped him apart and then put his head on top of a building.
Yeah.
Metacom did not hold permanent residence near the Bridgewater Triangle. He did hold his major fort was in Hockomock Swamp, which is occasionally referred to as Bridgewater Swamp. That would serve, like I said, as his base of operations. Not only was the swamp a strategic spot due to its close proximity to several key colonial settlements, but also the swamp held cultural significance. Hockomock being an Algonquin term meaning place where spirits dwell. The swamp had been used as a sacred burial ground as well. So the Hockomock was occasionally referred to as Hobomok. The Wampanoag worshipped a chief deity of death named Hobomok, who was thought to be made up of human souls.
That's creepy as shit.
This deity was believed to occupy in swampy areas such as Hockomock. Hockomock, I'm getting confused. But yeah, Hockomock, the swamp, and Hobomok, the death god, grew to be interchangeable words among non-native settlers when referring to both the swamp and the deity. So the Hobomok in Wampanoag and Narragansett traditions was the Manito or spirit of death. They were considered destructive and evil, often portrayed in stories as being in opposition with the creator god, Kautentowit.
All these names just sound incredible.
Yeah. Well, it's refreshing because we're so used to Germanic languages, the Romantic languages. The composition of these names is so different. But also, if you grew up in the Midwest, this also sounds like a lot of places like lakes and stuff like that, right? So Hobomok was also referred to as Cheepy, which is the Wampanoag word for ghost. And Hobomok appears to have been used as a boogeyman figure to encourage children to behave and do right. In such cautionary tales, Hobomok pulls devilish tricks on adults. Examples include stealing someone's eyelids so they can never sleep again.
Yeesh.
Or twisting people's feet to render them unable to walk. Following colonization and the widespread exposure to Christianity, the Wampanoag and Narragansett peoples would gradually identify the Hobomok with the devil. So it slowly became their devil character, their devil figure in their mythology. By the by, Hockomock Swamp is also called the Devil Swamp. And human remains have been found in the swamp as it was used as a sacred burial site to the natives. Archaeological excavations in the Taunton River watershed, including the Hockomock Swamp, have unearthed full burial sites and artifacts dating back to the Archaic period, which is roughly 6,000 BCE, and skeletal remains pulled from the swamp were dated to be around 8,000 years old.
Well, yeah.
So there's stuff in this place.
Yeah.
There's bodies. This place is built on bodies.
A long time.
The Bridgewater Triangle has long been a hotspot for UFOs as well. For decades, strange lights or spook lights have been reported in the skies above the area. In his book, Mysterious America, Lauren Coleman noted a rare meteorologic event documented by colonial-era settlers referred to as Yellow Day, when the sky turned a sulfurous yellow for one full day, and never happened again.
Interesting.
There's also an instance in the 1800s. Two undertakers were in a carriage in the Bridgewater area, and they saw what they called a lantern. They describe it as like a balloon bag. I don't know what that means. Mm-hmm. But they watched this weird, what looked like a giant ship in the sky, shaped like a lantern, and they followed it for like 40 minutes. And it was just flying above them.
Damn.
They were, freaking out. Like, oh my God, this crazy celestial
event. Yeah.
Yeah. Skipping way ahead to 1973, customers at Joseph's Restaurant on Park Street in Rehoboth claimed to have encountered a UFO. One night, a power failure briefly left staff and patrons in the dark. After power resumed, people discovered two massive circular impressions in the ground directly behind the restaurant, leading locals to speculate that a craft had landed behind the establishment. And I guess like alien technology causes human technology to like malfunction or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it draws energy, electromagnetic, whatever.
Right.
So that was a story for a long time. And also a lot of stuff in the 70s.
Well, that's when like the UFO hysteria is kind of going on, right?
That's probably when it hit its peak, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the 50s and 60s is when it really launched off. But also, I mean, you're talking about Massachusetts. In the Northeast, especially New Jersey, New York, whatever area, there's a lot of old military sites where they test aircraft. So I wondered, too, if some of this isn't like experimental aircraft. Though some of the stuff that was seen is kind of weird and like we never saw it later.
Right. There's two thoughts to that. There's a lot of UFO sightings near military bases because people are mistaking experimental aircraft for UFOs. And then the other school of thought is there's a lot of UFO sightings near military bases because UFOs tend to monitor military activity.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
yeah,
choose which one you want to believe in, I guess.
Yeah. Sticking to the 70s, two major UFO flaps occurred across towns located within the Triangle. In the summer of 1978, saw a spike in UFO reports between July and August. And in the spring of 1979, there was also a large influx of reports of UFOs. And in March 23rd of 1979, news radio anchor Jerry Lopes of WHDH in Boston witnessed a fully visible UFO coasting above the junction of routes 24 and 106, which sits nearly in the dead center of the Bridgewater Triangle.
I want to see a UFO.
I know, same. Jerry described the craft as being in the shape of a home plate on a baseball diamond, with a bright red light glowing on top, a row of red and white lights lining its edges, and a blinding headlight on the center of the craft's underside.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty consistent with a lot of UFO sightings.
Yeah.
Very, very bright light, rows of red lights.
Yeah. There's a lot of, they talk about spook lights or ghost lights. There's a ton in this area. And it sounds like it could be ball lightning, which is super rare. But they say that you'll see glowing balls of light that trace along the railroad. But the few videos there are of ball lightning I've seen have also been along railroad tracks. I don't know if it's like the metal of the tracks or whatever, like the signals in the railroad tracks. I don't know. But also, all of the UFO spook lights seen in Bridgewater Triangle can, I think, be attributed to swamp gas. Because of the swamp, like the sediment and decaying bodies in the swamp, that rises up and can ignite on static in the air. And it's a natural phenomenon.
Right.
So I think some of that, like the ball lightning or spook lights they see that they don't identify as being...
Or like will-o-wisps.
Yes, will-o-wisps, exactly. Also, giant birds have been seen in Bridgewater. I titled this section of my notes, "It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's a bird." UFOs aren't the only thing haunting the skies over Bridgewater. The region has a history of reported sightings of massive birds. One notable account appears in Coleman's book, Mysterious America. Norton Police Sergeant Thomas Downey was driving to his home in Easton one summer night in 1971. At around 2 a.m., Sergeant Downey was cruising down Winter Street, approaching a hill coincidentally called Bird Hill, located near the edge of Swamp Hockomock, and he noticed an unfamiliar shape in the road. He neared it, and as he slowed, came to a stop at an intersection. His headlights revealed a monster of a bird standing at around 6 feet by his guess. It looked prehistoric. Not long after the headlights hit it, the giant bird shot upward in a breakneck vertical takeoff. Downey reported that it had massive feathery wings that, once in flight, seem to have a wingspan of around 12 feet.
That kind of reminds me of the bird sighting with Mothman.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that episode, there was reports of a giant, I think it was like a crane. It was a specific type of crane.
Sandhill crane.
Yeah, which was moving at incredible speeds. It had like glowing red eyes, and it was like huge. It was like 6 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that these areas with like UFO sightings and like paranormal things also tend to have freakishly large bird sightings.
Yeah. I mean, there are like cranes and those walking birds with the long legs, like certain business parks, you'll see them. Like if there's like a pond nearby, there's these like nasty looking freaky birds with like, they have eyes that look at you. Like they have predator eyes. Like their eyes are at the front of their face.
Yeah.
Not at the side. There's something about those kind of birds that makes me want to just leave. More so than like a Canadian goose. A Canadian goose, I'll try to walk by. If there's a crane walking around, I feel like it'd be hard to kill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Big, hard beaks.
Because like they have like teeth or whatever, right?
I think so, yeah. And they're hidden in their beaks.
Yeah. Same with geese. Like geese have fucking like teeth.
They got knees. I don't want to see a bird with knees.
That's fucked up.
If they're flying and their legs are dangling, ugh, that's disgusting. It's just not right.
It's not natural.
So Downey tried tracking the animal, but it was far over the tree line before he had a chance to catch up. He rang his buddies at the police station when he got home, and supposedly a squad car was sent out to look for it, thinking that it could have been like an invasive species or a loose whatever.
It's probably just Mothman.
It was just Mothman, so they let him go. They let him off with a citation. Yeah, so nothing was found. No terror bird was found. Downey admitted that his fantastic tale had earned him the nickname the Birdman with his fellow police officers. And more recently, in 2018, Kristen O'Dea reported seeing a, quote, huge bird with a strange raptor-like tail flying near Freetown Elementary, reigniting public interest in the region's past thunderbird sightings. And we've touched on thunderbirds in past episodes very briefly, but as a quick refresher, thunderbird is a term used for a massive, now extinct avian predator. It's like a class of birds. They weighed around 30 pounds and up with wingspans of over 20 feet. They hunted from the skies probably 8,000 years ago. And they're also referred to as teratorns and likely resembled giant vultures. And they wouldn't have attacked humans, but we probably would have hunted them out of existence.
We should put a picture of a thunderbird because I'm looking at images of the size and they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
Whatever you're picturing, triple it.
20-foot wingspan. That's wild. Thunderbirds also exist in Wampanoag mythology. These thunderbirds were supernatural creatures who created thunder by flapping their massive wings and cast lightning from their large clawed feet.
Ooh.
So other large animals that have been spotted in the area, they've seen massive serpents consistently sighted in the swamp, dating back from colonial times. Amazonian snakes, they claim to see. None have been found, but people have consistently claimed to see them. Also, several stories of giant dogs with red eyes. There's one case in the 70s. A farmer came out to find several giant dogs with red eyes tearing apart his horses.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like, what in the hell?
That's when you move, buddy.
Omens. So, beginning in the 1970s and 80s, an urban legend was established which posited that a hairy, ape-like animal was hiding in the forests and swamps around Bridgewater. The event that may have inspired this legend occurred in 1970 when reports of a strange bear loose in Bridgewater caused a search party of heavily armed state and local police to mobilize, led by a team of trained hunting dogs. The officers failed to track the bear, and the fact that no one could confirm with full certainty that the creature they had witnessed was identifiably a bear left room for speculation. And at the time, too, and I believe this is still the case, bears are not known to inhabit that area of Massachusetts. Western and central Massachusetts is considered bear country, but its eastern end is like totally bear free.
Interesting.
Because it's so populated.
Yeah.
Around the time of the original Sasquatch sightings in 1970, multiple farmers reported pigs and sheep had been killed and mutilated. A rare occurrence then, because I don't think there's coyotes in Massachusetts.
You aren't barking up the wrong tree.
It's definitely foxes. Maybe there was a bear loose. Maybe there was something else loose. Mauling their pigs and sheep. That year, 1970, saw more bear reports. Many eyewitnesses described large, hairy, bipedal animals lumbering through their backyards and nearby forests.
Why do people still choose to live in this area?
I don't know. Maybe there's good schools, you know? A police officer claimed, this is around the same time, a police officer claimed to be sitting in his squad car on patrol one night when out of nowhere he felt his rear end of his car lift up in the air and then drop.
No.
Expecting a team of teen pranksters, he turned the car around.
It's just Mothman.
When he turned around, it was Mothman. He had to let him go with a citation. No, he turned around and in his headlights, he caught a glimpse of what looked like something like a bear running away upright. Last one, summer of 1980, Lake Nippennicket, also called the Nip, in Hockomock Swamp. A group of local men on canoe claimed to see a red-haired, chimp-like ape walking upright along the edge of the lake's island. When they finally reached the island and beached their canoes, the men searched the island but found nothing. So they saw a red-haired chimp.
Yeah.
That's not a bear.
That's not a bear. That's fucked up. That's a ghost.
That's a ghost.
That's a chimp ghost.
A long time ago, there's a big chimp massacre. Mm-hmm. It was tragic.
It was a white woman decided to have a chimp as a pet, and now its ghost haunts the swamp.
Yeah. Goddamn colonists.
It's tragic.
Tragic. So, last but not least, what imagery does the word Pukwudgie invoke, Mo?
Oh, God. Say it again.
Pukwudgie.
I imagine something that looks like Psyduck the Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Pukwud, like duck pudge. Pukwud,
yeah.
duck.
Yeah.
Pukwudgie.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll get back to that. Now, if you take a stroll through the Hockomock Swamp, first of all, don't. It's scary. But if you do, you might cross paths with something uncanny and absurd. Not Bigfoot, not ghosts, not aliens. This thing is much older, much trickier. Coming in at a staggering 3 feet tall from the great state of Massachusetts, ladies and gentlemen, the Pukwudgie. So a Pukwudgie is a mythical creature from Wampanoag folklore. They play a similar role to fairies or like trickster spirits. Mm-hmm. They are shapeshifters. They can turn into various animals. But the common form is a creature that looks like a porcupine from behind and a troll-human hybrid from the front.
That's quite a combination.
Yeah. And as previously stated, 3 feet tall.
That's too tall.
Yeah, it's like a small child.
With a porcupine butt and a troll face.
So I'm picturing like a long cascading porcupine mullet and a little stocky kind of troll human body with an ugly face. Pukwudgie's most defining characteristic, though, is its mischievous nature and broad intolerance for humans.
Same, buddy.
So Pukwudgies, when annoyed, will follow humans and play tricks such as pushing them off of ledges and cliffs into swamps.
How cute.
Blinding them with sand, attacking them with small knives and spears, and just kidnapping them.
Oh, Christ.
So they're believed to shoot poison arrows at those trespassing through forests and swamps. And they control the elements such as fire, so they can kind of start a fire with their mind.
Fucking hell.
Legend warns that through shape-shifting and psychic prowess, Pukwudgies will lure people into the wilderness. They were known to bewitch their victims with confusion. Old reports of unexplained time slips were attributed to Pukwudgies. So you'd be walking through the woods, and all of a sudden an hour has passed, but you don't know where that hour went. They say, oh, the Pukwudgies were fucking with you.
Damn.
Yeah, you got kissed by a Pukwudgie. You don't even know it.
You got kissed by a Pukwudgie. Pukwudgie stabbed you a few times. Mm-hmm. Man, you should have seen it. It was crazy.
There's a Pukwudgie wearing a dress and a wig under a tree and went, yoo-hoo, swinging a handkerchief around. And all of a sudden you just forgot about time.
Yeah.
And you just were macking on this Pukwudgie.
You're like, damn, I really want to go to the forest for some reason. I don't know why.
I think there's a beautiful woman over there.
I don't know why, but I just really feel called to the forest.
I need to go to the forest today.
Yoo-hoo! 3-foot troll woman.
Yeah, the ugliest thing you've ever seen. On top of the time slips, instances where locals familiar to the forest trails find themselves suddenly lost and confused. They'd say, well, the Pukwudgies are fucking with you. They're fuckwudging with you.
Fuckwudgie.
To add to the mischief and confusion, it's said that if you come face to face with a Pukwudgie, the Pukwudgie will vanish the moment they see you.
It's real tricky of them. That's real tricky
They're
of them.
gaslighters. Some tales include hikers hearing childlike giggling through the trees.
Fuck that.
Followed by unexplained fog and disorientation. No. Common sightings also include things like witnessing little people darting across the trails, glowing eyes staring back at you from bushes and up in trees. And legends imply that Pukwudgies are not just evil little trickster spirits, but also guardians of the forest and swamps.
I respect.
Gotta respect that.
Respect, yeah. It's kind of like a fucked up Lorax. Lorax?
Yeah,
Lorax?
Lorax.
Yeah. It's like an evil version of the Lorax. Like a Lorax that will stab you.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's a good kind of like reimagining.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah. I always thought Dr. Seuss never got violent enough. He never included stabbings into his narratives, which would really benefit the main themes.
Exactly. Humans are aggressive. Sometimes you gotta be aggressive back, you know?
Speaking of aggressive humans, Mo,
Yeah.
what's going on in Bridgewater with the humans?
Yeah. So you asked me to look into some fun little moitas. Moitas that happened.
There's been a moida.
Yeah. That occurred in Fall River, Massachusetts from 1979 to 1980. So this city is within the triangle, the triangulated area. So I'm going to be talking about 3 murders that happened where Satan's followers were the culprit.
Satan?
Satan.
The guy from the Bible?
The very one.
Oh my God. I heard he's bad news.
Yes. Of note, murders, not super uncommon in this forest, in this area of Fall River. In 1980, while the police were investigating another murder, the police were approached by individuals who claimed to have witnessed a satanic cult. So let's dive in to the infamous murders.
Well, the 80s, that was like Satanic Panic, right?
Yes, the satanic panic of the 1970s and 1980s. So to set the scene, typical small town, creepy little forest. It's rural America. You know, it's late 70s, early 80s. Women are
hotter than ever.
Still under the thumb of misogyny. Not a lot of opportunities to be independent. And so these 3 women that we're going to be talking about found autonomy where they could in sex work.
Okay.
So, a 17-year-old Doreen Levisk was murdered on October 13th, 1979. She was not discovered until the next day, where she was found under the high school bleachers.
Oh, man.
By a couple of kids who were there for a morning workout around the track. She was found with her wrists tied with fishing line, and she had been stabbed multiple times. Ugh. The medical examiner determined that the crime was likely committed by multiple people and stated that there was a ritual element to her wounds. Her cause of death was by being stoned to death.
Oh, God.
Pretty horrific. There was no one who was officially convicted of her murder. 19-year-old Barbara Raposa was murdered next on November 7th. In 1979. She was reported missing by her boyfriend, Andy Malteus, who believed her disappearance was related to devil worshippers. Andy revealed later that he was a piece of shit. He was a convicted pedophile.
Oh, God.
And rapist.
Oh, God.
But nice little Andy recently converted to Christianity after previously worshiping Satan.
Oh, he's good then. He's fine.
So, reliable narrator.
Yeah.
Andy claimed that him and Barbara, his girlfriend who was murdered, were members of a local satanic cult. And Andy, nice guy, offered to arrange a meeting with 2 other members of the cult for the police. Those 2 members were 20-year-old Karen Marsden and 17-year-old Robin Murphy. Karen and Robin were lovers who lived together. Fuck yeah.
Wait, those sound like women names.
Yeah, lesbian representation. They were vague about how they were introduced to Andy, but it was later revealed that, shocker, Andy is a piece of shit and was abusing them since they were children.
God, Pukwudgies, do your thing.
Yeah.
Find him.
So after hours of questioning, so Andy basically ratted these people out. They were like, hey, I used to be a bad guy and run in the circle, but I can give you some connections of people who are still in on it.
Rat. He not only is he a piece of shit, he's also a rat.
Yep.
And a pedophile. Fuck this guy.
And so these 2 young women who are also sex workers get questioned by the police. And after hours of questioning, Marsden confessed that Carl Drew killed Doreen, the first woman that I had mentioned. So Carl Drew was known by the police as a violent pimp in the area. He ran away from his parents' farm at 14 years old and basically caused a lot of trouble since then. Carl would claim that he was Satan himself.
No, Satan's not going to come back as Carl.
Right, fucking Carl. Carl the pimp.
Carl the pimp.
And he claimed that his prostitution ring was actually a devil-worshipping cult. He regularly took sex workers into the forest to hold nightly rituals and sacrifices. Marsden claimed that Carl even threatened to inject battery acid into her veins and offer her soul to Satan if she ever betrayed him.
Oh my God.
So she, unsurprisingly, was not super forthcoming with a lot of information, as she was scared of this man who claimed to be Satan. And she offered no other information and declined witness protection. And she also told police that if she were found dead, it would be because of Carl Drew. On January 26th, 1980, so this is a few months later, the body of Barbara was found behind an abandoned factory in the woods, and her head was found to be crushed with a stone. Similar to the first victim, Doreen.
Yeah.
After the discovery of Barbara's body, Andy contacted the police saying that he had a psychic vision that showed him the location of Barbara's body along with the time and manner of her death.
How convenient.
How convenient.
Wow.
He was arrested and charged with murder.
Good, yeah.
Good. Thank God.
He was probably shocked. He was like, they didn't buy this?
And he's like, what? Hold on. I gave you guys all the information after you found it.
Yeah.
So Robin, remember, she was the girlfriend of Karen, Karen Marsden. She came forward claiming that she was present for the ritual murder of Doreen, and she was willing to testify against Andy, who was just arrested for the murder of Barbara. She wanted in exchange immunity for both murder cases, and she claimed that Andy killed Doreen out of jealousy. 2 months later, the remains of a human skull are found in the forest. They're discovered to belong to 20-year-old Karen Marsden, who is believed to have been murdered in February, on February 8th, 1980. So this was the day after she talked to police about Carl Drew. Her body was never recovered. She was investigated as a potential witness to Doreen's murder, which I had talked about earlier. Another sex worker, Carol Fletcher, came forward and pointed the finger at Carl and Robin as the people who murdered Karen Marsden. Carol claimed that the cult killed every full moon, or about once a month. The cult that Carl Drew supposedly had with his ring of prostitution. She said that this cult spoke in tongues, conjured demons, and offered human sacrifices to Satan. Robin pleaded guilty to her role in her girlfriend Marsden's murder and accepted a life sentence in exchange for testifying against Carl. Both her and Carl were sentenced to life in prison. Robin later recanted her confession, claiming that she did not participate in the murder and only agreed to testify to ensure that Carl would be jailed. And considering she was, I think, 17 years old, that is not terribly surprising.
Yeah.
So just to reiterate, all of these women are 20 years old or younger and looped into this cult of satanic worshipers by this creepy fucking looking dude. Like, if you see pictures of him, he looks like he would do some weird fucked up shit like this.
What's his name again?
Carl Drew. So, unsurprisingly, this was a huge scandal event that happened in the town, and the town of Fall River in Massachusetts is tainted with these murders and talks of a satanic cult, and contributed to the satanic panic that happened in the 80s. Of note, there are other murders that also occurred in this forest. In 1987, a man was murdered, and he was mistaken as an undercover police officer. In 2001, 2 men were found shot to death on a road running through the forest. And although it's not a murder, I did want to bring it up. In 2006, an emu escaped and was found wandering around the forest. And it is unknown if it was ever found.
That's the scariest one right there.
Yeah.
A lot of murder for that area.
A lot of murder, a lot of weird, fucked up things, ghosts, genocide, what do you call them? Pukwudgies?
The Pukwudgies.
The Pukwudgies.
Thunderbirds.
UFO sightings.
Yeah, UFOs.
Satanic cults.
Yeah.
All in this little triangle location in Massachusetts.
There is a place in the area called, I think, the Profile Rock. It looks like an old man's face or something. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's like a nature spot. And there is a ghost story of this Wampanoag leader. I forget his name. He had this thing called a wampum belt.
Ooh.
It's a beaded belt, an intricately beaded belt that to each tribe or to each faction, it tells the story of their tribe, of their people, a significant form of documentation or whatever. It's very symbolic. And it's worn by the leader, the chief. And so this chief, sometime after Metacom, had the belt stolen, I think, after he was killed. And it was sent overseas as like a trophy to England. And it was lost at sea. Mm-hmm. And so people say, so his ghost is seen wearing the belt on these rocks. The legend is that all of this happened because that belt was stolen. And if the belt was returned, the curse that is inflicted upon Bridgewater, the Bridgewater Triangle, would be lifted had this artifact been returned. So that's also part of it too. It's like, what is causing this curse? Some local legends believe it's the fact that this belt was stolen and lost. And now they're getting their revenge. I will say, though, there is, not to be too PC, but it's tough to talk about with paranormal stuff, talk about Native American stuff, because we tend to over mystify, I guess is the word, Native people, you know what I mean? Where it's
like we in general as a population. Yeah,
where it's like, well, they're kind of spooky because they're Native Americans. And like, if you mess with them, they'll curse you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I tend to stop and think about that every once in a while. We're making them into these magical things when they're just people. That being said, too, I mean, there's other stories of European people who were wronged and they cursed an area or a people.
Yeah, there's a lot of mysticism around the ancient Indian burial grounds.
Right.
A similar thing. It's interesting, though, that you do find in history there are these pockets of intense dread or misfortune. They tend to be concentrated. And it also begs the question of, if the Bermuda Triangle were on land, would we see a similar phenomenon?
Would we? I don't know.
We'll have to put a bunch of dirt in the Bermuda Triangle and find out.
Start dropping dirt from the sky.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. So guys, that concludes this episode. As we do each episode, after talking about some macabre things, we share a good vibe. Mo, do you have a good vibe?
My good vibe, it's not going to start out that way, but my house has rats.
Yay.
The good vibe is that we caught some. And now we have less rats in the house.
Your numbers are dwindling, rat lord.
Yeah. I was hoping that they were mice. They are not mice. Those are rats.
Oh, they're full-on rats. They're big?
They're big. Big.
How big? Show me with your hands.
They're like...
Okay.
They're like that big at least.
Whoa. All right, damn.
Bat.
Like a really big bar of soap.
Like that.
Like a softball.
No, bigger than that.
Bigger than a softball?
Yeah. Yes.
2 softballs.
At least.
With a tail.
Yeah. At least 2 softballs.
Have you seen them, aside from the dead ones you caught, or the live ones you caught, however you caught them, have you seen them?
I haven't seen them. I hear them.
Oh, even worse.
Scurrying in the walls. It has gone down since we caught some. So
how many did you catch?
3. We have more, for sure, because I still hear them. But not as much. So that's my good vibe.
That's good. My good vibe is that I am employed again.
That's good.
So I'm no longer
that's big
having stomach ulcers from looking for jobs and being unemployed. I have a job for the time being, and I'm glad for that. And I'm happy for everybody else who has jobs. And if you don't have a job, I'm sorry, but you will find one.
These are such painful, like, adult good vibes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I caught some rats in my house. I have a job again.
Depressing.
That's life.
But they're good vibes for us.
Yeah, good vibes for us.
They're good vibes for you. if y'all enjoyed this episode, please let us know. Give us feedback, topics that you would like us to discuss. You can email us at accordingtoanidiot@gmail.com. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all of the episodes coming out, things going on Facebook and Instagram at According to an Idiot. We also have a Patreon. If you can't get enough of us, we do have exclusive series on Patreon. We read creepypastas. Jeremy is reading a nice little book about Mothman.
The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel.
Yes, but that's not all you can do. We do have a free tier if you're just interested in checking it out. We have ad-free listening. We have early access, a bunch of cool stuff on Patreon. So definitely go check that out. If you want to help other people find the show, please review us on iTunes and Spotify. We are a mostly word of mouth podcast.
Yes.
So if you like what we're doing, please tell your friends, tell your family, and rate us so that other people can find the show.
Yeah, the most important thing you could do, the biggest thing you could do to help us is to leave a review, like Mo said, on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
Yes.
Because, again, that's how we are found. That's how the algorithm throws us a lifeline, and we can spread across the nation and eventually the world.
Well, thank you so much for listening, as always.
And I will see you. No, we will see you in time.
Love y'all.